What's it like shooting sports in burst shutter mode? And can it help improve your photography? Let's find out. So this past week I travelled to London to the Clapham Grand to Riot Cabaret with my 24-105 lens attached to my Canon R6 Mark I. This is the basic entry-level R6 mirrorless camera, and I shot the main event ringside. I switched my shutter mode from mechanical to electronic, which is going to enable the 20 frames per second mode. So this is going to shoot, if I hold the shutter down, it's going to shoot 20 frames per second. I do use a Canon R6 Mark II, but I'm videoing it now. Now, my advice for anyone looking to get into photography that has a budget on the kit they can purchase is always purchase the glass first and the body second. The bodies come out much more regularly with much quicker upgrades than lenses do. Lenses that were good 10 years ago are still good today, but the bodies are always bringing out new bodies, which means that bodies depreciate more, which actually means that bodies that are only maybe 2 or 3 years old are much cheaper than when they first came out, much more affordable and still quite good. This R6, the Mark I, still shoots at 20 frames per second, and we're just going to take you to ringside to have a look at a few of the moments where I photographed on burst mode. A couple of things about burst mode. There's pros and cons to shooting with burst mode. The main one being that you're more likely to capture that moment of fast speed action that happens at the actual moment that is of most impact visually. That's what you're most likely to do. If you're capturing 20 frames in that 1 second, one of those frames for quick moving action is going to be right at the point, and you're more likely to hit that than if you just hit the shutter and just hit go. The downside to it is that you do create a large amount of files, like thousands of files. For this match, I would typically only shoot, it's around about a 15-minute match. I'm only really looking to be shooting around about 250 shots per match. I'm looking to get those down to around about somewhere between 20 and 40 for the promoter to use. Just key moments within the match. We're going to come on to that as we look through the video. For this match with the burst mode, and bear in mind, I wasn't really shooting burst mode a lot. I was only shooting burst mode maybe for 4 or 5 of the moves that I saw sort of coming. And I still shot 750 images for this match, which is way too much for me to cull. I used the new AI software in Lightroom to cull these, and it didn't really cull that many. But I might do another video about that. If you want me to do a video on why on whether that's any good or not, let me know in the comments below. But let's get straight into it. I've strapped a GoPro to the top of the R6 so you can see what I'm shooting as we're going through. I'm going to see the moments in the match where I chose to go in burst mode, but you're going to see it from my point of view from that GoPro ringside. Let's take you to ringside. Cara Noir versus Nico Angelo for the Riot Cabaret World Championship. Let's go. Yeah, so here we are on Cara's entrance. He's coming down to the side there in front of the fans here, and I've just caught him just sneaking past me there with a little close-up shot. The 24-105 lens can go quite wide. I've managed to just let the camera guy know with a hand on his shoulder and let him know that I'm coming past him there. Little profile shot of Cara coming into the ring, and at this point I'm still shooting on single shot mode because I value my editing time. Little tap of the canvas there, letting the videographer know that I know that he's there, the second videographer, and then he can come in and get his shot that he needs so we can share the space. But coming in wide underneath that bottom rope allows me to frame within a frame and get that Cara Noir entrance as he comes in and gets ready to make his dramatic turn towards Nico. And I love the look between them there, which is why I sort of photographed that. And then as he came up here with the lights all up in the background, I go up just a little bit higher between the middle rope and the top rope there, and just getting these shots with the lights behind. And then I try to do something a little bit different with the cropping there, a little bit bottom heavy using that rule of thirds, but still keeping Nico Angelo and the referee looking on in the background. We come round to the corner here and we got a pre-match promo where we're managing to turn the camera here to portrait mode to fill the frame. Still shooting at f4 when I'm working ringside here, pumping that ISO up, but trusting that if I do get anything that's really spectacular, the noise reduction software in Lightroom works really, really well at getting rid of that. So I just trust the process, shoot nice and wide, and by shooting on those high ISOs, I can still capture around about somewhere between 500th and an 800th of a second. Quick shot of the promoter there. Promoters love it. And you'll see here, I actually changed lens very, very quickly. That was just off camera, but I'm just shooting here on the slightly longer 70 to 200, which is why we're starting to fill the frame. It's why I can come back to get these shots of the introduction, so I can start to isolate the referee, start to isolate Nico, and start to isolate Cara away from the background to get those portrait style shots. And I come in nice and close here, hands cutting through the rope in there, but I love the way the announcer James there announcing in the background of that shot, and that works really well. Nico then gets introduced, and I'm turning again to portrait mode here, so quick turn of the camera, and we can go in nice and close, and look, he's caught my eye there. Hey, straight down the middle of the lens. Love that shot. Really good work from Nico, so I thank him and appreciate him for that. Arms outstretched nice and wide as we come back into horizontal, and it's a quick start to the match. It's caught me completely off guard. I've missed the contact on the headbutt. I've just about got the contact of the feet going into the chest on this long lens. It's difficult to follow the action when you're shooting on a long lens. I've just come back just to see if I can get anything from back here, but I see very quickly that the action has spilled to the outside with the clothesline and then the drop kick again, but everything facing away from me, and I'm in the wrong place for the action that's about to happen. But I'm going to bench off all the stuff that happens outside. I'm just going to let him get on with it. I'm going to take a slightly elevated position to the side here, shooting through the ropes there, loving the angles that that's making, and upping my lowering my shutter speed slightly because it's a little bit darker ringside, so shooting maybe at around about a 400th of a second there, giving myself an extra stop away from the 800th of a second. As we start to work in the ring, I realise that the referee's blocking my way, the ring post is blocking my way, there's too many blocks, so I just come back down to ringside here, and we're shooting still on that longer lens, so I'm able to sort of get these moments as we're shooting in between the ropes. And this is our first attempt at sort of burst shutter mode. I only got 3 there on the high speed as it sort of went through there, so I adjust some of the settings in the camera to get it to H+, which is what we're going to be using later on in the match to get those really high frame rates and do something a little bit different. Cara showing out to the audience here, nice one. Anytime they're sort of turned towards me, I'll get them to I'll capture that image there. Cara there nice and close, focuses on the hand on that one, but it's quite a sort of moody shot, I suppose. We can get away with calling things moody sometimes if they're a little bit off kilter or a little bit different. And then we come down here, action still in the ring, we're still working this leg on here, trying to work out what's happening next, and I can see a submission is going on now, so it's time for me to move. So I move around to the side here, shooting on portrait mode again, waiting to see what submission is going to happen here, what expressions we can get, and if it's actually ever going to come up. It should be, from my experience on ringside, there should be some sort of modified surfboard, and then Cara comes and attempts a slightly different lock in here, which means it's just an impact move, so I have to go in super close and get that reaction. I expected everything to go up there. It didn't quite go up, but I was quick enough there to get the expression looking into the camera. I like submissions because they're in the same place. I'm getting old now and I don't like to move around too much. But eventually, there we go, showing out to the crowd, and there, another burst mode coming in here, where we start to see 1, 2, and then 3, that kick to the back, 4 eventually going down. Still not quite shooting high enough frame rate, so it will be time for me in a moment to get into that camera setting and move it to H+ to get me those higher frame rates. Nice close-up of Cara there as he comes round, again using the 24-105 to zoom in nice and close to get another one there on the full focal length, isolating him away from the background that isn't distorted because we're shooting low to shooting up, so we're just shooting into those lights and into that darkness. Nico's fight back then starts. Nice triangular shape coming down here, filling that frame from that side. We're managing to zoom in again and get those expressions of him looking with that big impact shot to the side of the head as we start to see the comeback come in here, and I'm wondering where they're going, and that is the first time we used the frame rate here, and you can see here every little miniature step of that move, which was less than a second to go from, you know, standing to for the suplex to actually take place. Only getting a few frames in there. I wasn't quite in the right spot for this one, didn't anticipate it, so we just bin it off and then we look forward to the next one that sort of comes in here. And by using those faster frame rates, you can see 4 or 5 of the frames there. One of those ones in the middle is the one that I really like, where the arch sort of came across on the impact. Cara now showing out here. And we're managing to get in nice and close and maybe gets again some of those more moody, more characterful pictures, but I know when to come away when there's nothing there, so we start to look at alternative places where I can be, and I can see Nico's gone up to the top here to the corner, so I'm wondering, okay, big move coming up, and of course spoiled there. So it looks like it's something that's going to happen in that corner. If it's been spoiled in wrestling, it means it's probably going to happen later on, and I probably won't have to wait long for that to happen. But I'm kind of stuck here, and it does happen there. The elbow happens, he shows out, but all of the lights are behind him, as you'll see. So it's all a little bit backlit. We started to use the frame rate on him, and we eventually got it there to get that one there where he's kicking right on the extension there. And then we have the sort of like modified pile driver in here, or spine buster or gut wrencher or whatever they're called. I think it's a pile drive here, isn't it? But you can see now the frames are really starting to work, and I can really get that one there right in the middle where we're off the ground and everything looks perfect. And there's the shot there that we can get. So that's some of the benefit there that you can get from using burst. You get the whole range of movement in there, and you can pick the one that you really want. Again, going low for the emotion during the match of Nico hitting his face against the floor, but then coming up and then getting the two spotlights on the performers for the wider angle, just showing you the range of the 24 to 105 as we shoot there. I can see him showing out here with the arms outstretched, just a little move around to the side to get right behind him here with that spotlight coming in the background and the lovely architecture. I'm a little bit too low for his gimmick, is it a taunt? I remember they're called taunts, R2 or L2 on the old PlayStation 2. Anyway, yeah, a little bit too late there for the little bow and arrow taunt. The referee here doing his job in front of me, so I realised that I have to move if I want to get action. There's no point getting upset. The referee's there to do his job, and we get the reaction again. I've mentioned this on a number of these videos, these ringside videos. The reaction to missing pinfalls is what is really, really key in terms of getting emotion there. Kick to the back, so I can see the kicks are happening now, so I line myself up for another series of high-speed shots, high-speed burst shots. We managed to get that one there where the foot is connected on the back. That's the connection. I may have got it if I was on single shot mode, but I'm more likely to get it on the burst mode, going in close and low again to isolate the performer away from the background there with those lovely spotlights, creating that atmosphere in the background. Missed the spit coming out of Cara's mouth there, which was nice and hygienic. Big hit to the face, but it's all happening away from me. But just showing you again, that burst mode, we managed to get the point of impact. I was just in the wrong position that time, but there's no point getting upset about that. This is a wrestling ring, there's four sides to it. The action is likely to come to you at some point during this match, and if it isn't working for you with these indie shows, I can change my position. Good knee to the corner there, and here we go, starting to show off the burst mode there with the running coming through and the kick to the corner. I had no idea it was all coming towards me. Whole thing is there just to stay safe, and because you can tell there it was that I had no idea it was coming towards me because everything is out of frame. I haven't managed to get wide enough, haven't managed to change my position, but still like this running shot sort of coming in here. Nice action shot as we come in. Cara's right by my feet pleading there with the ring crew to give him the belt, so I managed just to sneakily hold the camera on my hip and take a quick shot of him down here looking up, which you would only get if you're that close. One of the sort of well-worn photographer tropes that I've always got going around in my head. If it's not working ringside, then I need to get closer. If I'm not feeling the action, I need to get closer, physically closer, and you can't get much more physically closer than this. Shots of Nico coming back up on the turnbuckle there, and then the action goes to the stage, obviously, because it's wrestling. Why would we keep it in the ring? That would be madness. So up on the stage here, and I managed to get some nice expressive shots there of the champion there over the challenger, dominant in here. But the drop off of stops here into this area here where it's all pink lighting and there's no spotlighting, it's about 3 to 4 stops. It's going to be impossible for me to get anything really usable. There's going to be of a good shutter speed. Everything's going to be a little bit dark, and just to show you that's how dark it goes in there, and I've opened up by about 2 stops there. Referee giving the count there, and Cara realizes, oh my god, no, if he counts him out, I won't win the championship. That's just wrestling rules. But I didn't spot that this was cue for the low blow from the Madame Guillotine, who we saw earlier giving the promo. She gives the low blow. I managed to get the reaction, but it's too dark because I just wasn't ready for it, wasn't aware it was going to happen. This elevated position now is giving me more burst mode opportunities, and I've gone in super close here, and you can see there, but everything's a little bit away from me, so I've come up nice and high to my more traditional mindset of trying to frame in camera, trying to get those 4 sides to the ring, trying to get the crowd in the background, and trying to give a sense of context as to what's happening there. And again, pinfall submissions are really, really good for that, because you know they're not going to move anywhere. that, whatever that is, to the corner. I was too late on that because the first part of it came across the referee, so I realised again here I need to move because I've got my one shot, my one contact shot, don't need to stay there, and I realised that the submission now is moving towards the ring on the hard cam side. That's the side of the ring that's facing the majority of the audience. I managed to come under the turnbuckle here, get nice and close, try and get that hand outstretched, try and get the moment where it sort of hits the ring, and just get that one there where the fingers are just inches away from breaking the submission hold. Cara comes back in here. Another big move there, but everything's away from me. But we do manage to get that shot in the middle there where he's sort of full flight. Big reaction to not getting the pinfall, obviously, again, but it's happened away from me, so the face isn't on the right side for me, so I've moved my position again. Cara coming into the turnbuckle on that side, and I managed to frame him through the ropes. One of my favourite shots in wrestling there. If I can get a nice frame of a body or a face through the ropes, use them to my advantage. And that one there of the challenger looking over at the champion who's down, nice contact shot there with the point of focus on Cara. The clotheslines come in, but again, I'm in the wrong position for it. And we've got outside interference. Here's Madame Guillotine up on Madame Guillotine up on the top turnbuckle, and it's time to use that burst mode. Now this one's happened here where it's all happened right underneath me. I'm not quite in the right place, but this is the one where it's really worked. I know that moonsault's coming, and we managed to get every little moment of that moonsault within those seconds to get the one where she's right on the archway. This move here, whatever that is, all upsy daisy, ups and downs. We're getting all of those moments, all of those incidences. But again, slightly wrong position. If I was to choose any of those, again with the run into the turnbuckle there, that one there was moving away from me. So if I'm using any of them, I'm using the moonsault, the one where we got the arch and we got the side on and we got all of the shape and all of the form. Then all of this happened towards me because I changed my position slightly and I got scared, so I ran away because I don't like being involved, or I don't like being too close to everything. Didn't get anything there again, and then Cara's back in the ring with the low blow, and if the low blow is caught there with the boot going in between the legs, then that's a good turning point in the match. Anything like that needs to be sort of hit. It redefines his character as the bad guy, and then the power driver right on the impact again. This was shot in burst, so that was the one from the burst mode where we actually get the impact of the head on the canvas. Madame Guillotine in the background, good top contact shot because there's no referee in the ring. She's flapping around going, oh my god, where's the referee? Who's here to count the pinfall? There should be a new champion. What's going on? Cara getting Nico up, realising that he's been down too long. He'll need to hit the move again in order to become, boom, the champion. And we managed to get that package power driver there right in midair with both of the competitors there going up. And surely it must be a pinfall, but it isn't. And I love that reaction. Turns straight towards me, and he's going to come up here. I've held my position because he's going to come up for a second reaction here, where he managed to get that real grimace looking down as he seeks the win in this match. And that's where we're going to leave it. Not out of choice. I wanted to show you like the ending, and I wanted to show you what happened after the ending, and the first decent missed shot that I ever shot in all of wrestling. But I can't because my GoPro ran out of battery at that point. I'd used it too much in the show up to that point, and it just cut out, ran out of battery, and that is your lot. If you have any questions on shooting sports, shooting burst mode, or any of the technical questions on focusing and things like that and how I set up my camera, drop them in the comments below. If you'd like to learn portrait photography and portrait lighting, if you've bought your first flashlight or you want to get into flashlight photography, you can visit my website, nofussmust.com. You can download your 1 light, your 2 light, and your 3 light workshop. You can also download your free posing guide. That's completely free. Just go up on there, sign up to nofussmust.com, and we will send you how to pose a subject in 100 different ways. Loads of more video content on this channel, including more ringside tutorials, and a new video every Monday showcasing how to light for portraits. Thanks very much for watching, and as ever, all the best.